Hi, it's Romy. Welcome to my channel, Scorpio. This is your March 2021 soul story. So if you have a Scorpio sun, rising or moon, then my general reading might just give you a little bit of heads up, some messages and insights that I hope will be valuable for you as you navigate your way through the next few weeks. So March astrologically and energetically is far clearer than we have been experiencing lately. Outer planets are being much less interfering. Everything is in a direct motion. We have a little bit of Mercury retrograde shadow at the beginning of the month, but otherwise you should start to feel the relief and things opening up and just having that sense of it feeling like you have a tailwind behind you rather than the headwind of making everything feel a little bit more challenging than it needs to be. So we're moving deeper into Pisces season, a fellow water sign speaking your language, Scorpio, and we're opening up the reading with the energy of the Nine of Pentacles, and Pisces season lights up that fifth house energy for you, which apart from reminding you about the need to find the way to fall back in love with your life, we are also really illuminating this very innovative, very creative streak within you. And I think that there's something immensely valuable about your experience through March where it's almost going to feel like things are coming in waves, okay? And you know, just like how these beautiful big whales in the ocean filter all of the water so that they can get the rich nourishment from the plankton that they feed off, it's a little bit like that, you know? You have this beautiful filter that you're putting in place so that you're really only allowing in the right information so that you can protect your peace, you can protect your well-being, and you can keep focused on putting yourself in as high a vibration as possible. That's going to be really important because with all of that energy moving through Pisces, it's very easy sometimes to allow the more nebulous aspect of that Neptune ruled sign to kind of pull you down and almost feel like you're losing yourself, just going a little bit too deep into the emotions of things. And it can be easily done, especially with the depth and the intensity that you can bring to situations at times, Scorpio. So what we're wanting to do is just help you to find a little bit more lightness. But that Nine of Pentacles is bringing a tremendous sense of accomplishment. I really feel overwhelmingly that one of the themes you're going to be working with through the course of this month is how you praise yourself, how you celebrate yourself, and how you recognize that actually your thoughts, Scorpio, your thoughts are not your soul. You know, your soul is this beautiful divine expression of energy. And the more acclimatized you come to working with a lot of the new energy that's coming through, and you start to filter out all of the negativity, all of the lower frequencies that might be impacting you from various sources right now, the clearer you're going to become. And it is definitely a month where you're going to start to see a lot more clarification. You know, you're walking through this doorway, if you like, and on the other side of this is many things that I think you've been hoping for, you've been looking for. And as we deal with what fifth house represents, which is certainly in the areas of romance, it's in the areas of children and also your desire and your passion. And so you should be getting good news and just starting to feel a little bit more comfortable and secure. But remember, it's about recognizing your accomplishments and the work that you've done at a deeper level and how that's brought you to this place. You need to understand the journey of the thoughts that you've been thinking and the influence that they have had. Now, for me, there is this sense of something coming very out of the blue through the course of March for you, Scorpio. It's just coming through intuitively. So when that arrives, we want to be in an energy where we are thinking the best possible thoughts and we're not moving into a distrust of what might be showing up. Here we've got the energy of the Ace of Cups, really beautiful reminder of what it means to fall back in love with who we are or to aspects of our life that perhaps have been on hold or we haven't been able to engage with. It's also the suggestion that for some of you there might be new connections forming or opportunities coming on the horizon, and we want you to be in a place where you feel deserving and worthy of them, and also just ready to say yes and to allow something in. So there's a bit of an emphasis and a focus on what you need to do in and around the heart chakra and the heart space to say, what's it going to take here for me to not only trust within myself, but also in the path that's moving forward. recognize, Scorpio, where perhaps there's the use of very tired, outdated language, and how perhaps you can start to bring in a more inspiring, positive, forward-thinking kind of language for yourself. I think it's going to be really important for you to be essentially quite organised through the course of this month, because if things are happening out the blue and there's quite a lot of synchronicity and you're going to be wanting to say yes to things, we don't want to overwhelm you. So we want to make sure that you're just dealing with things nice and early through the month, so that as we build, particularly up to the equinox, when there's going to be a big shifting of season, a beautiful opening of that new gateway, that you are poised and ready to receive that. So we've got Pallas Athena, the beautiful goddess energy, entering into the sign of Pisces on the 7th of the month. And as we build to that new moon on the 13th, your Ace of Cups and your Nine of Pentacles, just a really beautiful combination, especially if you're wanting to get really enthusiastic and motivated about any kind of artistic projects, anything that's coming in on that sort of Piscean level. Your imagination will be absolutely unleashed at this time, so really pay attention to what you might be picking up by way of signs from spirit during that, okay? It's important during this time that you really do say how you feel. Now, Mercury is moving into Pisces on the 15th of the month, planet of communication, and we want to make sure that we can just be direct and honest. You know, there's no harm in just saying it how it is. We don't want to go subliminal with things. It's just like the more refreshing you can be in just almost allowing yourself to let go of anything that feels heavy, and just honouring and respecting where you're at and meeting yourself in that moment, and, you know, educating other people, expressing that opinion so that everyone's really clear, the better it's going to work for you. Because Mars moves into Gemini on the 3rd of the month. Mars, the planet of motivation, physicality, our drive, our ambition, but it lights up that 8th house of relationships for you. Now remember, Mars is the planet of war, the god of war, and Athena is the goddess of war. Now, in the 8th house of relationships, deep transformation, it also, lights up that energy of perhaps where there's shared money, shared resources. So some of you might be dealing with divorces, separations, or the consolidation of things within relationships. Careful that you don't move more into that energy of conflict. You know, Athena in Pisces wants us to be lovers, not fighters, and you have that energy to be able to connect to something deeper. And that's why we're saying that it's important to allow, when the waves do hit, that you have this filtering aspect, so that you're not absorbing and taking on anything that's going to impact you too much. But certainly by way of relationships, there's also an awful lot of intensity, passion and romance that's coming through. And so for those of you that are kind of going to a new level within existing connections, or seeking people to come in, I think there's an awful lot to feel really enthused about through this month of March. And again, that unexpected quality of things coming in out of the blue could be really surprising you in the best possible way. Now we've got the Five of Wands here, which does suggest there is a little bit of conflict and a bit of fractious energy that's going on. You may within yourself feel a little bit conflicted about how you feel. There's also a level of the way that you're taking care of yourself. That Ace of Cups is really highlighted. And you know, in the first part of March, we're still dealing with the Virgo full moon, which will have shown you from a physicality perspective what you need to address, and perhaps you're in the process of figuring out what that means, trying to get to the root cause of things. The other positive aspect of Piscean energy is it really helps us to deal with any addictive tendencies, perhaps where we have a strong attachment to certain things, especially that have an impact on our physical health. So maybe like too much sugar, too much coffee, too much alcohol, or just like the wrong things that we're taking in to kind of use as an emotional crutch. So there'll be a big focus around that, but it may be a little bit harder to kind of shift or to move that energy. As soon as you do, though, you are going to feel like the detoxification and the clearance in your system through that. So it's well worth doing. As we come into that new moon time on the 13th, it's really magical, Scorpio, and it's a reminder to remember that deeper soul essence within you. How can you utilize that to start to allow yourself to think about where you want to go next? What happens next for you? And there's an important message to say that it's never too late. It's never too late. It's never too late to start something new. It's never too late to see something new within yourself or someone else. And so there's something about the freshness of that energy really wanting, really urging you, I think, to start to shift the language that you're using so that you can allow the universal support that's all the way through March and April to just bring in a little bit more choice for you, a little bit more variety, a little bit more rejuvenating energies. Now, Queen of Cups, of course, is a water sign, so you are embodying the essence of this beautifully, but it might also be a Cancerian or a Pisces, but deep healing that's happening here. She's also in a very passive, receptive energy, so you are being invited to listen. It's important to listen through the course of this month because you will pick up the nuances, you will pick up what isn't being said. And I think back to that message about the subliminal, so being mindful that you're not doing that, or if someone else is doing that, that you can listen so that something can be resolved, okay? Now she's coming in on a really healing energy as well, but also being guided strongly by something. And I think you have to have the courage of your conviction and just know that your presence and your place at a certain juncture is vital, you know. So it's about understanding, even if you can't really fully make sense of it, that you are in a certain place for a reason, that you are, you know, on someone's path at that moment in time because there is a deeper meaning to it that will be revealed. So there's something about having to harness and just kind of surrender into a deeper aspect of not knowing all of the details of something, but trusting that you are an intrinsic part of a process that is unfolding at this time, okay? Now, I also feel that we have this beautiful reminder that especially through Pisces season, even as everything is ramping up and there's a desire to get going and get moving, and you know, especially Mars and Gemini, we want to make plans again, and that kind of lights up short-term travel and you know, the kind of freedom that can come with just starting to put things into the diary and get going again. And that might be the experience for many of you within the collective, which is beautiful. The Queen of Cups still is inviting you, I think, in this moment, Scorpio, to make sure that you are balancing up and finding that center and still point within yourself, because when the sun moves into Aries and we hit that equinox on the 20th, you know, there will be a profound shift in the energy field, and you know, something will be rebalanced in your life and you will be invited to let go and release something. And so we can get really busy doing things and avoiding what we know we're meant to really be focused upon or directing our energy towards. And I think that the Queen of Cups is really asking you, just listen and tune in that early part of March so that you get really clear about it, and then you can harness the equinox and that full moon in Libra, which is going to put a really strong focus again on rebalancing and making sure, particularly from a relationship perspective, both personal and professional, something gets moved forward and progressed, or is allowed to be released in some form or another. Now, Chiron has activated the wounded healer planet quite strongly during that full moon in Libra, so just be aware, could be a little bit tender by way of some of the conversation or what gets prodded or, you know, provoked or triggered for you in certain aspects. But remember, it's a release moon, and it's one that wants to come in and harmonize your world. So let the healing flood through with that Queen of Cups energy, and you'll be in the best possible place to listen and receive the guidance that you really need. Okay, so Page of Wands coming in with fire energy, beautiful as we move into Aries season, lighting up your 6th house of wellness, how you're taking care of yourself, the way that that shapes your day, you know. So what is the routine? What is the ritual? You know, how do you feel compelled to move forward into this fresh new gateway, this new chapter? March is one of the most wide open, energetic, astrological months that we have in the whole of 2021. So what you can put in place and anchor in can be such a powerful cornerstone for how you're going to experience some of the forthcoming waves, the eclipse energies, and everything else that we're going to be dealing with through the remainder of the year. Page of Wands wants you to be open and curious, wants you to come at it from a place of feeling invigorated about who you are, what you've already managed to survive, and how you can now innovate. There's something really powerful about this word innovate for you in the month of March, Scorpio. That means that we're not going over old ground. It's just going to feel so tired and listless for you. There's a need to break a routine or change something up. And there's also a need to look at it and say, what do I need to add into this, or how can I enhance by almost like peppering in more of an optimistic outlook. It's really going to make a difference. I think there's a beautiful invitation or offer that's going to come your way, and it's laced with something that's really special. It feels like you have been handpicked. There's something about the energy with how it comes forth to you, Scorpio, that someone's really said, that's who I want, that's the person, or someone that's just identified the qualities and the traits and the energy that you bring to a situation. And I think that you are meant to feel good about that. It is meant to validate perhaps where you have invested your experience, your time, or just the way that you've been making changes within yourself and your life. And it's kind of the way that the universe is going to show up synchronistically and just remind you that, yes, you're on track, and here's a little bit of a reward that's coming through for you. So you should be in a position where you should be able to say yes. And even if you don't know what you don't know, that's okay. There's going to be plenty of opportunity moving into new environments and new connections to learn things and just to be that student again. And again, just being really open and honest and just saying, I don't know how to do this, or, I've never come up against this before. I'm not sure how I feel about, what you're saying. That's okay. Trying to get too fixed into a certain perspective or a mindset is going to be more problematic to how the universe wants to work with you through the course of this month. So just be careful that you're not getting too set on one particular expected outcome. Now, your moonchild energy, this is an additional card that's part of this deck, so it isn't the moon, it represents a different energy. The moonchild for me is inviting you really strongly to be aware of the cycles and how they're affecting you at this moment in time. Be aware of the times of the month that you feel energized and invigorated, paying attention just to your natural body rhythm. Depending on whether you're northern or southern hemisphere, the equinox is a beautiful time to reflect and to shift something up to prepare for the new season and what that means. It means we dress differently, we eat differently, we move differently, we feel into the collective energy, and we feel the guidance to want to work with that in harmony and in unison. So the more you can do that and adopt that approach, the better it's going to be, and apply that to your business, your work, your ideas, your projects, the way that you take care of yourself from a physicality and exercise, the way you're eating, and even within the relationships that you have in your life, with that special emphasis around the full moon in Libra and that Mars in Gemini in your 8th house of relationships. If it's a time for a new chapter, for a release, or for a moving on, let the forgiveness and compassion come through, because that Athena, goddess energy in Pisces, is bringing in a deep sense of healing. Remember, forgiveness and compassion is more like an energy cleanse for you rather than anything else, Scorpio. So the more you can indulge and allow yourself to feel into that, even if you're not ready necessarily to apply that to a person or to a situation, that's okay. Your Knight of Pentacles is suggesting that there is a need for you to step up and realize more what your worth is, and have more confidence in the direction that you're moving. You must stay committed to the task at hand, where however that is being presented to you through the course of March. And even if at times it still feels like hard work or boring work, or it's not really delivering, that 5th house energy of playfulness and the lightness and the desire and the romance and the frivolity of life that you're really seeking and longing for, it will get you there. It's a process. It's a step-by-step reimagining, changing up, innovating, and committing. And it's through that strength of loyalty to yourself that I feel you're really going to make a tremendous amount of progress over the next few weeks that's really going to surprise you. Now, I see offers coming your way, especially for those of you that are looking from a vocation, career, or work perspective. They may require that you do something that perhaps you're not initially overly enthusiastic about or isn't exactly what you're looking for. But again, there's an important aspect of listening, because I feel through listening, not only are you going to learn something new, but you're also perhaps going to pick up on other opportunities, or where doors are opening, or new contacts or networking that could lead you more emphatically toward something that you do want to do or is going to be right for you. So the Knight of Pentacles also represents earth energy, so Taurus, Virgo or Capricorn. This might be relevant for you by way of people that you are dealing with through the course of this month. And certainly there does seem to be a focus in and around just getting on with the work, or actually grounding yourself, and that's really beautiful, especially with all of that Piscean energy. But that's also a fantastic partnership, because what we get with accessing into the wisdom of Pisces is our imagination gets to run free, and we get to inspire, innovate and tap into a very divine wisdom and understanding of what is possible. And then we get to root it and ground it into reality and figure out a process and a ritual and a way of being able to actually receive the tangible benefits of it, okay? But this is very much about self-mastery here as well, you know, and this is what's leading to that level of self-accomplishment that's coming through. So don't be derailed, you know, don't be derailed by what anyone else is trying to impose upon you or trying to direct you towards if it doesn't feel right or doesn't feel good for you, okay? Watch out for the kind of I told you so's, whether they're from you or from other people. It's a time to be gentle, but to free yourself and move way beyond that, you know, way beyond that. There's much more for you to be focused upon. You've got these beautiful rainbow blessings coming through, and it feels to me that that is directly related to whoever or whatever comes forward that is kind of got your name written on it. It just feels like it's directly for you, Scorpio. So that feels like it comes out the blue. And when it does, even if you feel like you're not in a position to be able to say yes just at this time, know that you can't really miss anything. So the timing aspect will wait for you, or it will come back around, okay? So don't be fearful or think, you know, that came just at the moment when I'd said yes to something else, or, you know, if it's fated, it's going to happen. But yes, there's indecision, or there's a moment of choice that needs to be made in and around this. Now, Two of Swords also links into the energy of Libra, so I'm thinking around that full moon is also where we need to pay attention. You may also have a Libra energy that you are dealing with, especially from a work related nature. Contracts, agreements, something being signed or discussed is also being highlighted. Again, when we talk about the money aspect of that 8th house in Gemini, this could be happening very quickly, by the way. Mars in Gemini wants to tie things up, wrap things up, move it on. And so, you know, maybe that's what you're looking for, what you're seeking, or maybe, you know, you're trying to put the brakes on it and slow it down. Either way, there's a bit of a push-pull energy that could be playing out in regards to some aspect of your pathway at the moment. But know that the more certain you can be about the fact that you are in the right place at the right time, that the waves that are coming will bring all sorts of things to the surface. You know, it's almost like it churns up the energy. And so there will be a lot of good things that come up, and there'll be a lot of not so good things that you are observing, but you don't necessarily have to get drawn into or caught up in. You have this filter. Remember this. The filter is just so that you can clear out anything that is not for your highest good and really allow you to put your full focus on where you're going to make some meaningful, beautiful progress, as all the stars and the story that they're telling this month is wanting to help you, wanting to guide you. So let's take a look just at these oracle cards and see how they reflect that coming through. By the way, you're not in competition with anybody right now, Scorpio. I feel like I want to say that, you know, just it's important to just stay true to your own path, whatever timeline that is on right now. It really is going to take you to where you need to get to by way of success, achievement and accomplishment, okay? Okay, new love. Embrace an opportunity for love in your work prospects or for spiritual growth. And you have the Ace of Cups here. So make sure you are in a receiving energy. You want to catch that shooting star. In fact, there's multiple shooting stars here, but one significant one. So, you know, how do you fall back in love? That's 5th house energy. What does desire mean to you? What is your relationship to pleasure, Scorpio? where does that fit in your life right now? Is it completely absent, or do you curtail it? Do you put heavy sanctions on it because you feel guilty, or you feel like there just isn't enough time in the day? Especially as you move into Aries season with 6th house, you're going to get to put new plans into place that give you a better work-life balance. Equinox is going to make sure that that happens. So if you're looking for love, or you want to bring more love into your life in all aspects of what you do, how you live, and how you embrace that energy, that beautiful divine unconditional love, then you have to make those steps to create the space for it. Really important. But tremendous amount of spiritual growth can take place through Pisces season, as we're all given almost like a cosmic boost for all the work that we do to connect with the higher realms. And so you should feel excited and the anticipation rising in that level as well, because you've been through so much through the course of 2020, and even January and February of this year was still exceptionally wired and difficult and challenging by way of some of the transits and the impact that I'm sure they have had on your life, you know, against the backdrop of what's been going on in the collective. So take this respite. Weight of the world, boundaries, let it go. It's not yours to carry. Isn't that beautiful? And I think that this image is so perfectly emulating the fact that as a water sign, as these waves come and go, you can just still allow yourself to sit in stillness. Just sit in stillness. Let the sparkle, you know, just illuminate all that is good and rich and beautiful within you and around you. And find that still point in the center. Don't allow too much of the outside, lower, denser energies to in any way infiltrate what is sacred and the work that you have done on yourself and in your pathway, okay? Make sure you put those boundaries in place with whoever you need to assert them with, and readdress what time, sacred time, is for you and how you're going to honour and respect it. Scorpio, this is a general reading just for the month of March, so I hope it just helps you and you've enjoyed listening. If you want to join me for the extended version, I'm going to go ahead and just pull some additional clarifying cards. So think about a question I might not have answered for you in the main spread. We'll go ahead and cover that off in the extended reading, which is about 20 minutes or so. They're $8, and it's a way to just support my channel and the work that I do, and I deeply appreciate those of you that join me for that. Thank you so much. So just pulling a couple of cards here. So let's just go ahead and clarify the main spread now. So just beginning with the 9 of Pentacles, we have the Ace of Acorns, which is the Ace of Wands. Again, very Aries energy coming through there. We have the Hanged Man. And the 2 of Coins, 2 of Pentacles. Okay, the Ace of Cups is coming in with the 9 of Wands there. And the 4 of Wands. And the Empress, beautiful. Venus, of course, aligned with the Empress and Taurian energy, is in Pisces for a good part of the month, and then she moves into Aries on the 21st. So our relationships going through a phase of real emotional intimacy and then desire being sparked. You've got Ace of Cups coming through again. I think there's a strong emphasis around love and love in all its facets and how it's coming through. We've got the Emperor coming up there as well, and the King of Swords coming in with the Queen of Cups, which is quite an opposing dynamic. So it'll be interesting to see what is going on there. We've got the Knight of Coins again, the Knight of Crystals, and the Queen of Wands. So bit of a complex situation going on with various people here. We have the Hierophant coming through and the High Priestess. 2 very powerful, trusted advisors. And the energy of Judgment. Magician coming in. 10 of Swords and the Wheel. Knight of Wands here, just in quite an opposition to that Knight of Coins. 6 of Coins. 2 of Swords coming up again here. Interesting choices to make. Another 9 of Coins showing up. Ace of Crystals, lovely. You're getting some beautiful aces this month. Okay, Scorpio, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you're joining me for the extended, I look forward to continuing this conversation. I'm going to wish you beautiful blessings for March, and I'll talk to you again later. Bye-bye.